everybody, it's Tommy Jo from Bird Street Studio, and I'm here for the second time to do Roxy's Weekly Challenge 2026 mask making, and I think this is week 25, and Rachel calls these floating faux envelope pockets. Now, the first time, 30 minutes into the video, I realized I had done them the wrong direction, but I can use them. So I have the start, okay, and I ended up making one. It's just not the way she did it. She made them longer. They were like envelope type things, but I can use these, and here's an example of how I can use it. So I'm going to move these off aside, and we're going to try to do it right this time. So basically, she used papers that her husband, I'm using Journal Centric Collage Pack 1. These are what's left in this plastic envelope, so I thought I'm going to use these up. You know, Rachel's papers are all collaged, and they're just gorgeous papers. But I know that I love these papers, and I know I will use them. So she cut hers long ways, and this has a couple of figures on it that I'm not sure that would suit. So let's put this paper aside for now. And she cut them about 7 inches tall. So let's try that. When I cut those other papers, I just cut some longer and some shorter, whatever. But most of hers were about 7 inches tall. So if we want about 7, okay. And we'll do a few of them. Make this one about, yeah, right around 7. And you can make them any size, but I saw that hers came out kind of long, and I liked that. So I'm going to try to follow this. She did have different sizes. Okay. Now, let's see. What was the next thing she did? She got her scoreboard out. And I have to think about this. So if I want this to go like this, then I want to score the short side first. Yes, because I'm going to fold it. Perfect. Which is not what I did the last time I did the video. You end up scoring all of them, but to keep it straight, I'm going to do 3/8. 1, 2, 3/8, maybe 1/2 inch. Yeah, let's do, I don't know, let's do about 1/2 inch. And let's do about 1/2 inch here. I'm not very good at scoring, so, okay. 1/2 inch, and we're going to do the same thing. So we want to do it on our shortish side. I'm going to try 1, 2, 3/8, and that will give us a little different size. And I think 3/8 would be enough. And this is just, you could just fold this if you wanted. I'm not very good at folding like that, so it seems like my right side is easiest for me to use. So anyways, Rachel calls these floating faux pocket, envelope pockets or something. I don't know. Something like that. So we've got 3 here. Okay, so the next step, I'm only doing 3. I think Rachel did 10 or 11. I don't know. Is she took her glue stick and she glued these pieces down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just glue those right down on that score line. You could probably fold them. That probably wouldn't hurt. I'm so nervous because, you know, the last video I did, I got 30 minutes in before I realized I had folded them wrong. And I can use them. I mean, they'll just be smaller little pockets or something. They won't be the same as what Rachel had in mind here, but makes me nervous. This seems to be a heavier paper. This is probably a 32-pound paper that I've got here. The other ones that I used were on a 24-pound bond. I print on different papers depending on what I'm making. So I use bond for certain things, not very much. But mostly when I print out digitals for a journal, I use 32-pound presentation paper. I believe it's by HP. Then I print on a 60-pound cover, hammer mill, and an exact 110 index. Again, it depends on what I'm printing. The 60-pound is like a laser cardstock, but the graphics really come out clear and nice on that. So I like to use that for elements and stuff like that I want to be, you know, nice, clear, crisp graphics. If I'm printing like tags or something that come in a digital, I will oftentimes print them on 110 index because then I don't need to back them. That's heavy enough. Okay, now I have to think this through. Then Rachel folded these in half like this. Yes. Okay. Like this. And I could use my bone folder, and I probably should. Okay. Perfect. The next step was she opened them up and she scored them this way as well. So we want to get our scoreboard back out. And we're going to score those the same, like about 3/8 of an inch or so, give or take. Maybe there. Again, depending on what weight paper you're using, be careful when you score that you don't rip your paper. And just because it's easier for me, I'm going to turn this. I could score over there, but I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me to do it this way. 1, 2, 3/8. Okay. And we're going to open up this one and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3/8. And I'm going to turn it and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3/8. It's funny, I don't know if anybody else does this, but when I'm so worried about scoring straight, I press harder. I don't know what that's all about. Okay. There. And 3/8 there. Okay. Okay. Think it through, Tommy. Okay, so our next step is she folded these in. She actually folded and unfolded. because if they're the same, you should be able to trim them the same. And so basically, this is where you want to decide which is going to be your front and your back. You're going to miter the corners. Okay. And then you want to decide which is going to be your front and your back, because you're going to cut off one of these. And I really think I like this as a front. Okay, so if that's the case, I want these to go over to the back. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one down. Okay, and this one as well. And I'm cutting just inside that score line or fold line, barely, just a smidge, because we want it to go over like this and fold comfortably. And I can see that I have a little bit of a bulge here, so I'm going to cut that just like literally. I'm going to just take off a smidge. So it doesn't buckle when I fold that other piece over. Okay. Then, if this is our front, we want to make a notch there. And I was just using my tab for a notch, a thumb notch. Kind of deciding about where the middle is. And then we're going to glue these. I'm going to use my wet glue because now I've got a little bit of thickness right here. Okay. And we put our page down and we fold it in. And then basically what you have is a little envelope pocket. And it really is good on both sides. Just one side has the edges folded over. So let's do the other ones. I love this. Oh, came out really cool compared to the last batch that I folded wrong. Okay, so we're going to fold these in. And I scored these pretty much the same, but I'll be honest with you, I feel more confident trimming them separately, because if they aren't exactly the same, then they don't, and you fold them over, you end up trimming into your cover. And then again, we want to decide which we want as a front and a back. And I kind of like this. It's a little busier. I mean, that's pretty, but it has to open on that side then. And I guess it really doesn't matter, but yeah, I kind of like this. Okay, so if that's the case, then if this is our front, then we want to cut our notch. Okay, and then we want to cut, because this is the front, these are going to go around, so we want to cut off the back. And how we do that is miter this. And cut just inside our line. Like that. Want to miter this. And cut just inside our line. Or our score, our line, or our score line. And then you want to fold it up and hold it and see if you cut enough so that you don't get it buckled. Now here it's buckling a little bit more, so I'm going to cut just a sliver off here. Okay, let's see if that's better. Seems better. That seems better. It's not as much of a buckle. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so then we want to glue these down. We've got our little thumb notch, and let's go ahead and glue this side down. Ooh, that was a lot of glue. And this side. Beautiful. And then that's what we have. We have our thumb notch there. So now we have 2 of them. Let's do the last one. I think we got it this time, Tommy. And then these need to be filled. I mean, the obvious is that they are like a pocket, kind of a side pocket. But depending on how long they are, like these are over 6 inches, so you couldn't put them this way. You can put them this way in a journal, this way in a journal. You can paper clip them. You could hinge them to a page, whatever. Pretty universal. Okay, I'll fold these. And then, like I said, if you don't score these exactly right, then when you miter the corners, they don't match up right. So I am okay with just cutting them separate. And then we want to figure out our front and our back. And this, it doesn't matter, but let's make one this way. So if this is going to be our front, let's go ahead and put our thumb notch in. And if you don't make it real deep, then the back of your, where we folded it, covers that notch a little bit. Okay, so whatever is the front one, these are these sides that we want to leave to wrap around the back. So we want to cut off the back side. So we're going to miter this and cut right up here. Well, that wasn't very straight there. A miter here. And cut right here. Okay, and then we want to hold it, make sure that we don't have a big buckle. Perfect. Perfect. And now we can glue. A lot of thunder going on here right now, so these puppies are a little nervous. You know, typical Florida. Very nice. Okay, so I'm thinking that I want to go ahead and distress these. At this point, Rachel did some decorating with some birds and this and that, and wow. Do you hear that one? Yeah. And you know, I don't decorate until I use the piece in a journal, but I thought we could go ahead and distress them. I have some vintage photo here, and that would make this thumb notch really stand out a bit. Well, brown on brown, I don't know how well that stands up. And I am going to distress both sides. because, like I said, they're supposed to be floating, so you literally can use, decorate both sides of this if you'd like. You don't have to, but you can. But I thought I'd get in my drawer. You know that I'm trying to use up all these elements that are in my drawer over here. See if there isn't something that we could put on these that's fairly neutral or that would go with a journal. Oh, you know what? We're making the, this one might go good, or this one actually. We're making that Woman in Roses journal. So we could use one of these and there. Actually, we could probably use all three. Decorate them accordingly. But I don't know if I have anything over here in my drawer that would really match that journal right away. So let's see what we got. So anyways, I'm behind in videos because you saw the first video of the journal for Iceland that I was going to make my sister, that I am making my sister. Well, I'm behind because she kept adding things and I kept looking at it thinking it's not the way I would like it to be. So I ended up tearing it apart and I'm redoing it, and that is taking some of my time. Let's see what kind of decorations we have. Well, first of all, let's pull out this journal. Okay. And see if we have anything in here that's good for, ooh, that would be pretty. Oh yes, we'll use that one. Oh, I see another, a small one. We could probably use that. Just looking for things that would go with these. Oh, isn't that pretty? Oh, that might be good too. Oh, that might be good. A little bit of book page. Oh, we have this page. That's pretty. Okay, let's go with, oh, I printed out some of these from Cheryl Francis, and I think we might want to use these. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and decorate these babies up to match this journal. What do you think? I'll put this over here so I have it right at the ready. We need to do some cutting. Let's get the cutter out. These are from Cheryl Francis. So anyways, the journal I'm doing my sister, it just, you know, it was an envelope journal. That's how I started it, and it was nice. But she kept wanting to add things, and the first few things that we added, I thought, oh, that'll be really cute. And then the next thing I know, she's sending me, oh, I want to keep this to stamp on. She was sending me text messages from her girlfriend who is planning the trip, because Holly is retired. She's Tracy's old boss. and she's retired, and Tracy is still working, so she doesn't have a whole lot of time to plan. Tracy also is a fly by the seat of your pants person, which is not like me at all. Okay, we have 2 of these. Let's see what we can do with them. We can decorate them up. Okay, so these are the 3 that we have. 1, 2, 3. These 2 kind of need to go this way. I think it doesn't really matter. This one can go either way. So I really like this a lot. Maybe we could put this right here. I don't want to cover all that up, so let's pick one of these that we really like. I think I like the one with the roses going that way. Okay, so that one will go on there. Easy enough, and we will kind of decorate it up. This one, I don't know, I'm just really loving this. So I want to cut this out a little bit. So, and I like the stem actually, isn't that crazy? So I'm gonna kiss cut it. So kiss cutting means you leave a little bit of the paper on the outside. You could tear this if you wanted. I don't want. I might want to cut it closer once I put it on and see how it looks. A lot of these pieces right here that I put in the plastic envelope with this journal were pieces that were left over and were in my drawer. So we're actually getting rid of elements from my drawer over there, which is really cool. It is awesome. So anyways, getting back to my sister's journal, I tore her journal apart and I'm remaking it, and I think I'm liking it a lot more. It's actually going to be, instead of an envelope journal, there are a couple envelopes in it, but I put pockets and, you know, something that's more my style and something that I'm happier to make, and I'm, you know, it's going to really show, you know, what I like in it, which, you know, I don't want to make a journal if I don't like it. Oh, how pretty is that? Okay, love it. We can add to that. This one, I don't know if I want to put, I don't know. Let's tear this one. Let's see what we got. Might be a little too big, not sure. I need to have a straight edge, sorry. Okay, if I tear there, then I want to tear there again, which is right there. Can you hear the thunder? These puppies, one's right next to me on the left and one's right next to me on the right. That thunder's pretty loud. Sully does really well. Chance is, as you know, high anxiety, so he shakes the whole time. I actually took videos of him yesterday shaking. During the storm, it was crazy. This puppy gets so nervous. Okay, I'm kind of thinking I might like that. I don't know what I think of, what the heck this is, some sort of part of the flower here. Okay, I love these, and I think we just want to see if there's anything else we want to do to embellish them, and I think there is. I mean, I want to add something here, maybe something up here. So let me look and see what we got in our drawer. I like that. I think I like the one that's lighter. I think I like that. Okay, so that'll work there. We want to see if we have tags or something to put on there. Now I did just cut a bunch of butterflies and things. But remember, this is going to go in our rose journal, so we want it to be those colors. Ooh, that would be pretty. I think these are just a little too bright for there. Let's see what else we got in here. These are the moths. You kind of have to know the difference. But I did use some Copic markers and color some pink colored. Actually, I kind of like this. If I layer these like that, I like that. And then we need like a label or something. And then this one I love. We could put there. Love it. Then do we need something here? Oh, look at that one. Oh. Okay, so those are moths. We need to kind of look in butterflies, and I could put these away while I'm here. I see a lighter colored one. Nope, too bright. Nope, I think I am good with butterflies. Let's look at a couple of labels or something. Let's put these in there since they're cut. Not sure how I feel about this one. I might have to darken it or something. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. Okay, so if we do green, browns, all like that kinda. Oh, that's kind of pretty, that green one. I like it. A bluebird, blue jay, we don't want those because we got butterflies. Delete where not applicable. I kind of like this. And I would like to add this in here somewhere. And I don't know, honestly, I think I'm going to leave that one. I don't see anything in here that's really tickling my fancy. This green one kind of does, but it doesn't really go well. Okay, I think I'm going to go with those. We're doing well for having to do a remake. Okay. So first things first. Let's do this one first. Let's go ahead and put this down. And I am going to lightly distress the edge of this. Okay, and I think we can use our glue stick. Is it getting dark in here because it's storming? Let me look and see if it's too dark. It's pretty dark. I'm going to turn the light on. Hold on just a second. I don't know if that's any better, but I turned the light on. It is storming and I'm right by my window and it's getting very dark outside from the storm. It's very typical Florida showers. And I'm going to put this right, maybe a little bit more towards the top, I think. Like that. And then I want to distress this a lot, so I think I'm going to pull my marker down and I'm going to color this cream colored so it's not so stark. Okay, I like it. Okay, we want this one. I think that would be good right there. Okay. This one we want to distress. I could use a marker on this if I wanted to as well, but I think that the distressing works just fine. I want to put this right here and then decide where this one needs to go. And this one I definitely want to color this white space in here with this marker. I don't want to cut it because it's too close to cut. So if we use the marker, it turns it kind of cream colored. And I think I like those right there. That right there. And that right there. I think I like it. So, I want that to go right over the O. That's the hardest thing when I'm laying things out. I watch people lay things out and like they tend to put them right back where they got them from. Not so much me. And this one we'll put right here, so the edge of this has to go right by the end of that. And then this one will be done and we have a space to put something in there. There, I love it. So there we go. I just absolutely love that. Okay, let's go to the next one right here. I love it. Now we want to decide, do we want to put that down or not? And I think the key here is to see, I don't like the color for sure. So let's change the white and maybe go over the whole thing and kind of change it a different shade. I think it's going to make it too orange. We need to make it more pink or violet-y, rosy colored. But I think we might be able to do that. Okay. So let's see. Because although I think it's pretty, it needs to be darker. So let me see what kind of a shade I have for that. I have this R83. What color is that? That might do it. Let's try that. Change our shade. Definitely changes the shade, but I don't know if it's the right shade. Because this isn't a rose, this is a peonies from my Plenty of Peonies digital. I love the flowers, so I use them for everything. Okay. Too pink. We need to go a little purplier. What do you think? We should go a little purplier. If not, I can throw it in the butterfly thing and use it for something else. Okay, I'm really liking that color, but I don't like these antennae. So we're going to take those babies off, and I will draw a couple of black ones on there. Yeah, yes. I like that better. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue it down, and I think we need our liquid glue for that. And always know with Copics, like, let me show you real quick. You can go over it and make it a darker shade just by putting another coat on. That's how Copics work. It's like you can layer them. Very pretty. Okay. But they will go through everything you color on, so be sure you've got something underneath when you're coloring. I use them in my coloring books, and I don't use them actually in my coloring books. My coloring books, I print the pages on cardstock. I will scan them and print them on cardstock. Oh, how pretty. And then I color on that, because they would go right through the pages, and especially if you have a coloring book that is double-sided, it would just ruin the picture on the other side. Okay, let's find a marker and let's make some antennae for this little butterfly. 1, 2. Okay, so we did that. I love these. Okay, we got one more, and we should have enough time, right? We're at 50 minutes. We gotta hurry. Well, this one's simple, so this one we just have to lay this baby down. I'm just going to distress the edge just a tiny smidge. I'm going to use our wet glue for this. And this wet glue, for all of you that watch, you know what it is, but for those who are new to the channel, I had some art glitter glue that got really runny. I don't know, and I still actually have some over there, and I haven't opened the bottle, so I don't know if that's the same condition that this one is. So I had some tacky glue out here, and I went ahead and added some tacky glue and put it in this bottle, and it's miraculous. I don't know what it is. It's like the two glues together. It does give me enough time to play, just a little bit longer than the art glitter glue alone. Okay, I wanted this up here, but what was I doing with these? Maybe something like that. Okay, so we need to trim this one. But anyways, I absolutely love it. And I'll be honest with you, I use the Barely Art as well, but I kind of like this mixture, and I may continue to do it, even though it was a mistake. You know, not really a mistake. I mean, I mixed them intentionally, but I didn't want to waste the glue. So even though that was the case, I may continue to do it intentionally because I love it. I just love the glue. Okay, let's put this here. Okay. Put a little off there. Then this one, I want to make cream colored. Make it cream. Love it. Okay, and then we want to distress this part. That way, if I didn't cut all the white part off, it gets distressed and you don't notice. Okay, so that one's good. This one, we need to distress because I kiss cut it. So this will take this white edge off of it. I could have used my marker if I wanted, but I wanted more of a brown. And I'm going to put this one on top of this one. I wonder if I should just, I think I'm going to cut the eyes out of this. I know you can't see it, but there are little eyes here because I didn't cut the head out. I think I'm going to just cut those out and use the head of the other one. And just stick this right there. I think. I like it. Okay. So we need to glue this on top of this first. In case I mess it up, I want to be sure that I got it right. There. And then we want to glue this one down. Which direction? That way or that way? Kind of think I like it this way. Okay, and then guess what? We're going to draw some antennae. There. And then there's that one. We may want to put a word or something on there. I'm not sure yet. Depends on which signature we put it in or whatever. So I think that's a wrap. Thank you so much. If I appreciate my subscribers, past, present, and future. If you're new to the channel and you've lasted this long, I certainly appreciate you staying and wish you would subscribe. We'd love to have you. Please give us a like. Helps our algorithm. Comment. I love to interact with everybody. So these are our, what are they called? Faux, floating faux envelope pockets. So these two I've got opening on this side so you can slip something in there and in there. And because they're double-sided. You could decorate the other side if you want. I'm not going to do that just now, and this one opens on this side. But anyways, I love to interact with everybody, so please leave a comment. There we go. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.